You've obviously haven't heard this sentence from me before, but I actually mean it because if no one is joining, if no one is watching these videos, I might stop doing them. And based on the feedback of yours and the amount of comments you share, all that, I think it's bringing its value. So it would be kind of pity. So I really mean it. I'm happy that you are joining because it makes the live stream going and makes it attractive and interesting for people. And I hopefully help you solve some of your current situations. So I'm happy about that. And hopefully this helps to people who rewatch it as well. But I'm here for you live. So please ask your questions, use my knowledge, use my experience. I'll be happy to give you the best advice I have. So Mukul, hello Jan, hello Mukul. Thank you very much for being here. First time to connect with you. Finally. So use that. You're the first one to write a comment, so you can have the first question and the first answer. But probably Ahmed Hassan is faster. Hello, brother. Actually, I like your content so much. Happy to hear that. Is there anything like you appreciated about the content? I mean, like the topics or my personality or whatever. No suggestions here, but anything like that. If you share a bit more information about what you appreciate there, I'll be happy to hear that. Jaka Prasad. Hi Jan, what is the processing time for PR with EU long-term resident? Some of my friends got approval in 5 weeks. I've done a video about that and it's labeled the biggest lie in Czech immigration. And it's about so if you go to my channel or just search YouTube, Jan Kalina and the biggest lie, hopefully there are no other like videos like that, but I made a video which talks about this topic because the thing is that there are some official timelines. For example, for the PR, it's 60 days, I believe 90 days in complicated cases, and I don't like the light. So I'll try to move a bit. We'll see if it's better. Sorry, guys. So that's the official time, but in the real life, it depends on many things because first thing is like the season, because when there are plenty of applications submitted and the ministry is very busy, it takes longer. Depends on the concrete decision maker, because different decision makers, given the same documents, it will take them different time to like make the decision. So that's another thing. Then it depends on the documents you submitted and what's your situation, because if you're applying for a PR as an employee, it's kind of super simple. If you're applying for a PR as a self-employed person, it's way more complicated. So it depends on many things. 5 weeks, I would say, is great. I would say generally it takes between a month and 4 or 5 months, probably somewhere there. And then wherever you end up, that's just normal. Mukul, your videos is too informative. I have some questions regarding long-term visa and resident card. May I ask? Of course, Mukul, go for it. Just be specific, because if people ask me, I don't know, like some general question, it's very difficult to answer it. So if you have some specific question about something specific, that's always the best. But okay, ask whatever you want to ask and I'll deal with that. Kamel Mohammed. Hello Jan, I'm getting a trade license. Can I use virtual address? There are companies provided, but not sure if it's okay. We provide a virtual address as well for the trade license. So if you need any trustworthy provider, get in touch with us. We'll be happy to sort it out for you. It's done within 1 day. No problem with that. For the trade license, the virtual business address is completely fine, completely legal. Many people do it, even many companies do it for different reasons. One of the reasons is that your landlord does not agree with you using the flat as your business address. That happens pretty often. Second thing is, or second reason, sometimes people don't want to have their address publicly visible, because even if your landlord agrees, that you can use that address for your trade license, then your home address is visible to the whole internet. So basically the whole world. So everyone on the internet will know where you live, which some people don't care, but some people care a lot. So that's also a reason why people get the virtual address. There are other reasons like taxation in different taxation related for different parts of Prague or different parts of the Czech Republic actually as well. So yeah, getting a virtual business address is completely fine, completely legal, no problem with that. There are some rules the provider should stick to. I've done videos about that as well. So if you go to my channel and just search for business address or just generally YouTube, Jan Kalina business address, you'll find all the videos. I've done like 3, 4, something like that, just about this topic. So there's no problem with that. As long as you have your name on the building, you have some mailbox there with your name, so you receive some letters if they arrive, then it's completely fine to use it. Unlike the virtual proof of accommodation. If you're using a virtual proof of accommodation for your visa application, that's a fraud because you're saying that you will be living at an address where you know you will not be living. So you can be punishable, the provider can be punishable, so we don't do that. But with the business address, completely fine. Nazar Kaminsky, hello Jan, thanks for your videos. I have a few questions about the health insurance. First, hey Nazar, thank you for the questions. I'll try to answer them all right now. So first, could an EU citizen participate in public health insurance if currently unemployed, not registered in the labor office? This is a tricky question because it depends on many things and I'm not 100% clear about them either. But the thing is that you could potentially, or there are a couple of rules. So first thing is you cannot have two public health insurance in two different countries within the EU. So if you're, I don't know where you're from, but let's say you're from Italy and you have a health insurance there, you should not come to the Czech Republic and get a health insurance here as well. So you would have two at the same time. You can have like one in Italy, then cancel it and get one in the Czech Republic, that's fine. But at the same time, you should not have two different health insurances within the EU. So potentially, where I'm going with this is that if you're paying to the healthcare system in the country of your origin, so say in Italy, then it's kind of possible to get it transferred here. So you would still be paying in Italy, but you would be using the Czech healthcare. We've done it before, but I remember it was kind of a pain because you had to get some special confirmation from your health insurance company in there and then like choose a company here, give them the paper and hope they will know what to do with that. And then it took some time and all that. So potentially if you're paying health insurance somewhere else, you could keep paying it there and get the health insurance here. If that's not the case, then there are some rules for Czech citizens. For example, if you're unemployed, the government pays that. For foreigners, I think the main way of doing that would be getting registered with the labor office. You can potentially, as a Czech citizen, also become like a self-payer. Doesn't mean that you're self-employed, but if you have like investments or you have savings or whatever, you don't want to work and you don't want to be freelance or like own any company, you can still contribute to the public healthcare system and benefit from it. You generally just need to go and get it done. But I'm honestly not sure if this is possible for non-Czech citizens. So I think it would be best to go to some of the insurance companies. If you have one already or had one as an employee or something, ideally go there and ask and see what they say. Technically, it is possible that you are covering the cost on your own, not being employed or self-employed, but the exact conditions, ideally go to the branch and ask there. 3 minutes with Karim. Hi Jan, how are you? It's nice to see you again. You as well. Again, I will remember the name forever and my association with that. Nazar, his second question. Is a family member of EU citizen with a temporary residence permit eligible for public health insurance? Not really. generally speaking, as a non-EU citizen, you can only contribute to the public healthcare system if you're employed in the Czech Republic. So if you get employed as a family member of an EU citizen with the temporary residency, then you will be part of the public system. If you're self-employed, it depends on the country of origin. For example, Americans, Turkish, I think Japanese, and like 4 other nationalities, Serbia, something there as well, Bosnia Herzegovina, like 7 nationalities in total, I think, can contribute also as freelancers, but then the rest of the world cannot. So it's this thing, and you could potentially, if you were married, but I think you would need to be like a Czech citizen. The EU citizen would have to be a Czech citizen, not any EU citizen. Then you could potentially register your spouse under yourself. But again, we haven't really done that much, so I'm not 100% sure about that. Sorry, guys. A lot of talking, which is good. Nazar and his third question: are there any penalties for having commercial insurance instead of public? It kind of depends. If you are supposed to have public, then I guess so. Because let's say if you're an employee and your employer is just not paying for you, or if you're self-employed and you're not paying as a self-employed person, then yes, that could be punishable. Mainly he would have to back pay everything plus late payment fees. If you're not eligible for the public health care, you still have to be insured because that's given by the Czech law. Basically, everyone who is physically in the Czech Republic should have health insurance. There are different scenarios: EU citizens, non-EU citizens, short-term visas, visa-free stay, long-term visas, long-term residence permits. So there are different scenarios for that, but you should be insured like 100% of your time in the Czech Republic. So actually, if you cannot get the public for whatever reason, you should get the private. So it's kind of the other way around. You could be more penalized, or you could be penalized if you are supposed to pay the public and you don't do so, or if you cannot contribute to that, so you are not covered by the public and you don't buy the private. I hope it makes sense. Milena Marquez, oi, oi, hi. Skater girl, I love your accent. Thank you very much. I love your nickname. It's very artsy. Skater girl. Thank you for joining. Kamal Mohammed, awesome. I will get in touch. Of course. That's very simple. We have a property which we own and we do it there. So we don't rely on third parties. So it's easy. Mukul, hello, I'm Chef and I'm from India. I have previous working experience in different countries like USA. Recently I got job offer from Prague and it's not an agent job, it's directly hired by employer. So what I need to apply a long-term visa or residence permit? Well, Mukul, I'll probably have some bad news for you. I'll try to deliver them smiling, but yeah. If you want to get employed in the Czech Republic, unless you're for chef, I know that if you're a very good chef, you can get a very good pay, but I don't think you will qualify for the blue card. Blue card is a type of employment residence permit, and you could potentially apply for that. For an employee card, which is the standard type of residence permit based on employment, so if you got a job offer to work in the Czech Republic, you would be most likely applying for an employee card. But the problem with that is that in India, there are quotas for how many people can apply for the employee card yearly. And the number is very low. It's low if your employer is registered in some special programs of economic migration. So that's very low and you could wait 1.5 years just to get an appointment to submit the application. So if you get a job offer today, your employer is registered in the program, you might get here like 1.5 years, 2 years later. Question is if you want to wait for that or not. That's the situation. Second situation is that your employer is not registered in the program, which is more likely, I would say, and then the quota is 0. So you cannot submit the application at all. So it doesn't matter if you have 7 job offers from the Czech Republic, you cannot apply. So unfortunately, this is a bit tricky situation. We take care of some Indian companies or Indian restaurants, like companies employing Indian cooks and waiters and all that. So we have a first-hand experience, and it's very difficult to get here someone from India. So we usually advise getting here someone who lives, like if you're an Indian restaurant and you want an Indian chef, fine, but find someone who already lives in some other country for more than 2 years. And ideally not in Asia and ideally not in Africa. So basically find some Indian who lives in Europe for more than 2 years and then bring them here. That's possible. Bringing here someone from India is very difficult at this point. Hulk8889, hello my friend, can we use copy of the original document stamped for the application of the employment visa? Depends on what document, but generally you can use either the original, like the physical original document, or a notarized copy. But the notarized copy would need to be from a Czech notary. So if the Czech embassy makes an official copy, that's fine. Or what we usually do is that you mail the documents to us, to the Czech Republic. We make the copy, we make it a translation, whatever, and then we mail it back to you. So yeah, copy is fine, but it must be an official copy done by a Czech translator. Ahmed Hassan, I applied for a study visa and I will complete 18 years old next December 5, but I didn't submit the letter from my parents that they have no problem to travel. Does that affect to issue my visa? That's a good question. Honestly, let me think. I'm not sure if the requirement is there for kids below 15 or below 18. Honestly, I'm not sure right now. But yeah, if you need it, I think it's 18. So if you don't have consent, it might potentially be a problem. It should not lead directly to denial, but the ministry could request it from you. Yaka Prasad, I applied PR on October 24. I studied PhD in the Czech Republic, and then I'm with employee card for past 3.5 years with the same employer. My contract is permanent. How busy is October? October is very busy. That's the busiest part of the year. August, September, October, those are the busiest parts of the year, mainly because of students, but also plenty of teachers are moving here. Families might still, they usually move a bit earlier because usually parents want the kids to start school in time. So they would move during the summer maybe, but some families move later. So October is very busy. November is a bit better. December, nothing happens in December. And then it starts again in January. So abroad travel with Lal. What is the procedure from Romania, Schengen country, to Czech Republic for employee card, non-European citizens? Depends on how long the non-EU citizen lives there. If they live there for less than 2 years, then it's the same as if they were trying to apply from their home country. If they were trying to apply from their home country, good. So it might be difficult. If it's an US citizen, they can submit the application anywhere, so it doesn't really matter. But if it's someone who needs a visa to visit the Czech Republic, say Indians, then they can only apply in the country of origin, so in India, or in the country where they've been living for more than 2 years. So if, let's say you're an Indian, you live in Romania and you've been living there for more than 2 years, you can apply through the Czech embassy in Dresden. And if you live there less than 2 years, then you unfortunately can only apply in India, which is impossible. 3 minutes with Karim. As I told you before, that I submitted my long-term residence permit visa on 12th of November this month and still waiting for the decision. Yeah, the 12th of November is 2 weeks ago. That's nothing. Your application is probably not even in the Czech Republic. So yeah, be patient, man. Feri Gedira, Jan, I have been waiting 80 days for my student visa since September 10. Does it mean it will be rejected over 60 days? Studies already started. It's not directly related like that, that the longer you wait, the higher the chances for rejection. I think you can say so in general, because if you wait for another 3 months, then the ministry will deny the application, saying that you've already missed too much school, so they have to deny it, which you could easily appeal because that's their fault that it's been taken like 5 months or 6 months instead of 2. But that could be a reason for denial. I've seen it happen before. Generally though, as I mentioned, especially now the season is very high. September, that's the highest season. August, September, October. So that's the busiest season, so everything takes longer. So maybe just the person who's making the decision is on vacation, or they got sick, or they have too many cases to handle. So I would not be too worried about that, like from this perspective, that it's 80 days, so you will be denied. But I would be worried from the perspective of missing a lot of school. Yeah. Mukul, and I see on the Czech Republic India quota is only 1560 for annual, and I'm confused about the embassy appointment, if I will be able to invest my time. Sorry, my question is too long. And what's the major thing I need to discuss with employer before applying embassy appointment? Okay, so that's I'm circling back. You cannot get appointment yourself. Please also share this information so people don't pay anyone for a work contract or work permit or whatever before they know they can get an appointment. And you cannot get an appointment yourself. So if you write to an embassy saying, I have an employment contract, I want an employee card application appointment, you will never get it because there is zero quota. There is only the 1,560 people that can apply, but that only applies if they go through one of the governmental programs. There are 3 governmental programs. One is qualified employee, second is highly qualified employee, third is key personnel. Key personnel and highly qualified employee has part of the quota. I'm not sure, like 560 maybe. And then the qualified employee has the rest, so 1,000. So it's already split. The quota is split between these programs. And if your employer is not in the program, you cannot get an appointment. If your employer is in the program, then they have to get the appointment for you. So they write the embassy and the embassy writes you. But if they are in the program, they would tell you this. So if they didn't tell you that, most likely they are not in the program, and hence you will never get an appointment. Nazar Kaminsky, thanks for the answers. My pleasure. Fedi Kadira, second question. I gave all documents from Czechia, like Czech bank account, lived in Czechia for 7 years, and I had to leave because proceeding closed. I have Czech diploma, but there is what question? I don't see the question there. Sorry, Fedi, I don't see the question there. Saeed Akramuddin, I have a sibling brother in the Czech Republic. Can I apply for permanent residency if I come on student visa? I'm not sure if it's related, like you have a brother here and you want him to get you the student visa or something. First thing is, you cannot get anything based on having a sibling here. Siblings are not considered close family members, only spouses or kids. So if you had a wife here and you wanted to come here, you could do it under family reunification. Or if you had a child here, you wanted to follow, or the other way around, you could do that, but you cannot get a visa based on a brother living here. So that's one thing. Second thing is, yes, you can get permanent residency if you have a student visa. It will just take longer because all the student years are counted as half. So if you study for 5 years, bachelor's and master's, the ministry will only count 2.5 years towards the permanent residency. I will start answering the questions faster because I see that there are plenty of them still, and I've been talking for 25 minutes, so I'll go faster, okay? 3 minutes to Karin. During my long-term residence permit application submission time, the Beijing Czech embassy asked me a few questions related for my stay at China, and then they accepted the application package. Is it normal they do the same with other applicants as well? Yeah, they can ask you. For some visas, there are deep questions, deep interviews where you sit there for 1 hour and you answer questions. Sometimes they just ask you a couple questions like this. So yeah, that's fine. If there was something unclear, then they can ask you questions to clarify that. Question is, if they use it against you, or if they will ever use it. Maybe it was just chit-chatting, because usually if there is an interview, you should sign the outcome. So there is a transcript of the interview you should sign, kind of like that you agreed with the questioning. If they didn't do that, it's possible that they just asked for themselves, or they wanted to understand the situation or whatever. So maybe it's not even related to the process. Hello, bro. Permission to join. Suhti. I cannot pronounce it. Sorry. That permission to join. Yes, you have permission to join. You can ask your questions. Please do. Unstoppable Dream 7, please. What do you mean? I haven't seen your question. Have you asked any question, please? Let me know. 3 minutes with Karim. How long do I need to wait for the decision? Hi, it's 3 weeks already. I don't remember what you applied for, but for most visa types, the decision time is 60 to 90 days. So at least that. For some, it's shorter. Student visa is only 60 days. But for example, family reunification residence permit can be up to 270 days. So it kind of depends. I did another video about this topic. So if you go to my channel, search for it, you'll find it there. Now, Monirul, Islam. Couple statements about how great I am. That's perfect. Thank you. So, dear sir, your advice is right. Dear sir, your advice is real. Dear sir, your advice is right. Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear that. This is what I'm trying to do here, like tell you everything as it is. Sometimes I tell you as it should be and as it is in real life, because there might be pretty big differences. And I'll always try to be honest with you, so I'm happy you can feel that and see that. 3 months work permit, cannot get to visa from Bangladesh. Yeah, unfortunately, this is like, that's where people get scammed the most, I think. Like seasonal visa and employee cards or work permits, let's say, because unfortunately it's kind of impossible to get appointments for that. So you just pay someone 2,000, 3,000 euros, but you will be never able to use the documents. Yashwan Singh Shekhawat. Hi bro, it's more than 2 months complete, but I didn't get approval and I submit in Dresden. It's showing still being processed. What I do for approval? Well, kind of depends on what you applied for, because if it's 60 days or 2 months, they might still have time, because for, as I mentioned, for most visas, it's 60 to 90 at least, but it can be even more. So depends. Then I go to my channel, search for a video where it says something like taking long, or what to do if your application takes forever, something like that. Because you have 4 options. Generally, you can send the ministry some letters and request faster processing. But there are some rules for that. So just go check the video, and I talk there more about the options you have. Manusthetic. I'm mispronouncing all your names, guys. Sorry. What's the salary in Prague for IT professional? That's kind of difficult to say, because there are different IT professions. I would generally say if you're a software developer or something like that, like this kind of positions, that would be between 70,000 crowns to maybe 130. 140, let's say, let's double it. Okay, so 70 to 140, depending on your seniority and what exactly you do, roughly. Isaac Yusuf, Hayan, when applying for a long-term family reunification residence permit from within Czech Republic, having stayed here with the visa, does the application proof of residence have to be in her name? Kind of depends. Technically, no. For example, if you're the only person or she's the only person in the lease agreement, but you're married, or it's about child or kids, then their names do not need to be there technically, but I would not really count with that, or like I would not rely on that, because the thing is that the people at the ministry might not know, and even if they know, they might not follow the rules or the laws. So I would definitely not risk it, but technically it should be possible. Is it okay if the proof of residence? Okay, I've just answered that. Monirul Islam, I want to visit the Czech Republic. Is it possible? If you want to visit, I would probably do just like some travel visa, tourist visa, book some tour and let the agent do it for you, get the visa for you. Because getting a visa for the Czech Republic is kind of difficult in general. Jaka Prasad, what are the specific requirements for EU long-term status rather than just PR? I see from the website both permits have the same set of documents. Which permit is time-consuming for processing? There's no really difference in that. It's just a status. So you have a permanent residence permit, and then you can request a status of a long-term resident of the EU. You get it during the same process, you submit the same documents, you just request this status. The main advantage kind of is that the permanent residency generally only applies and have all the benefits and all that in the Czech Republic. With the long-term resident of the EU type of permanent residency, you might get some additional benefits in some other EU countries as well. So like moving there, getting a residence permit there might be a bit easier, maybe some of your working rights, all that. So it's more like a status thing. It's not like a separate thing you would be applying separately. Ahmed Hassan, even I will complete 18 years old after 1 week from now and already submitted my application on September 25th and the ministry didn't contact me. Well, it's possible they will not want it at all. They still might, because at the time of submitting the application, you were not 18 yet. So it very much depends on the decision maker and their approach. Mukul, I watched your all past videos and I asked my employer is part of the program. It's a big food company in Prague and I am specialty multi-cuisine chef and they offer me good salary. And I see my profession is part of Qualified Worker Federation and the Food of Drink Industries. 1560 applications for employee cards, out of which 600 is Qualified Worker Program, 960 within the highly qualified working program. The program is intended for workers from Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I don't know if there is a question in that, but yeah, the thing is that we have a restaurant which is enrolled into the program. But the thing is that you have, let's say for the qualified employee, that's what? 600 people a year. But there are thousands of people registered in the program. So let's say you have 600 spots a year, but there are 1,200 people who want to apply for the employee card. So you will get an appointment, but you will get it 2 years later because it's 600 this year, 600 next year. So if there were only like 600 people a year who wanted to apply, then you would get the appointment kind of easily. But if there is way more, then you have to wait. So we were waiting for this one employee with one of the restaurants we work with. I think it was like 15 months before the person was even invited for submitting the application. So yeah. Fedi Gedira, question is, if there are lower chances that I will get student visa if proceedings closed last year and had to leave the EU, but I have no restriction, I have 2 diplomas, and I applied for PhD. Well, I would say it depends on what was the problem. If you just left because, I don't know, some family emergency or something, and you had a reason for that and you closed everything here properly, means that you returned your residence card to the ministry, which you have to do by the law, or that you got your visa cancelled and you got the departure order, all that, no problem with that at all. If the problem for you that you had to leave was because there was some problem with your documents in terms of you didn't submit some documents, or you didn't submit them on time, or there were some mistakes there or whatever, that should be fine as well. If the problem for you that you had to leave was because you falsified some documents, or because you lied to the ministry or something, you used the proof of accommodation, the fake address for accommodation, that could prevent you from getting back completely. So it depends on what happened. Yashwan Singh Shekhawat, thank you for your information. It's good for me, also for other people. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for being here, asking the questions. Happy to answer them. Howard Rakovsky, will you have an episode dedicated to citizenship applications? I've done that. I've done that. So if you go to my channel somewhere and search for getting a Czech passport, I think it's called, or getting a Czech citizenship, you'll find an episode there. Janat Kanatbekov, what is the advantage of blue card? Depends. Depends. I've done a video comparing employee card and a blue card. So again, if you go to my channel and search like employee card versus blue card, you'll find a video there. But briefly, blue card has a longer validity. So employee card maximum validity is 2 years, blue card 3 years. Also, blue card is kind of universally known in the whole EU. So every country has some form of blue card. Maybe not every, but it's very like, it's not international, what is that? You find a sort of blue card in, I guess, all the countries. So it's easier for you to move to other countries as well with the blue card. And it might have some additional advantages there as well. For example, if you've spent 3 years in Germany under the blue card, then you come here and get a blue card, then the years in Germany counts towards Czech permanent residency. So if you spent 3 years in Germany, you can only be here in the Czech Republic for 2 years and still get a PR, the permanent residency. So those are the main kind of advantages. Then you can also bring your spouses faster. Because you can immediately apply for them for a residence permit instead of a long-term visa. So that allows them to get a longer validity and also to be able to start working. So there are advantages like that. But again, I've done a video where I go in more details. So check it out. Is there a site where to find more details about the benefits of an EU resident status in other EU countries? I'm struggling to find clear and comprehensive info about that. Appreciate it. Yes, that's common. I would go, I don't know the exact website, but I think it's Europa something, which is the official website of the EU, and they have pretty good articles there as well. But I would need to Google it, but I would look for these official websites because I remember seeing some kind of understandable article there about this. Mukul, thank you for your kind information and answer. Now my all doubts are clear. It's possible. I want to know only I'm capable or not. I don't need to do anything. My employer will apply for visa. Now, if your employer only, if they are part of the program, your employer will only apply for an appointment for you. But then you still have to go to the embassy in person, submit the application in person, all the documents. But the part of getting the appointment is done for you by the employer. Ferry Gedira, one last question from me. Is December busy in terms of visa response? You mentioned August, September, October is busy. Thank you again, man. My pleasure. Yeah, August, September, October are the busiest months. Then November is a bit less busy. September is less busy. Plus in December. Plus in December there is Christmas, and basically nothing happens for the last 2 weeks of December. Basically from like 20th of December until the end of the year, or the 2nd of January, whenever is the first working day, nothing really happens. So no one will be working on your application there. Ahmed Hassan, so this will be the last 2 questions. It's been 40 minutes. It's been a pleasure, but it's been a bit long. So 2 last questions, Ahmed Hassan and abroad travel with Lal. I have just completed 2 months from the date I submitted my student application. Can I send a letter now to the ministry to ask them why it's late? Yes, you can ask them for the status of your application. and maybe do it, maybe not, I don't know, it depends. Then if it really has been taken longer, you can send them a complaint against inactivity, which moves things, but that can also piss off the ministry, so depends. I've done a video about that as well. But yeah, if they've been taken longer than is the law requirement, then you can send them some letters. And last question, abroad travel with Lal. I have completed 1 year in Romania. Can I move to the Czech Republic for employee card? Employer registered in government qualified employee program. I got job offer Plzeň, Czech. I have citizen of India. No. Or you can do it, but you have to do it in India. You have to apply in India. So the same situation applies to you as to Mukul, I think. Where if your employer is registered in one of the programs, they can book an appointment for you in India. So you will get it at some point. But the question is when. But unfortunately, it will probably be faster for you to reach 2 years in Romania, and then you can apply in Dresden actually. So it might actually be the faster option, unfortunately. And Ahmed Hassan, can you do it for me? Yes, of course, we can send the letter. Just get in touch and I'll send you the details. Woo! So it's been 41 minutes. Thank you very much, guys. For all the questions, for being here, and I'll see you again Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Goodbye, guys. Good night.